Okay, something weird is going on with Republican Senator Scott Brown of Massachusetts. Again.
Just in case anybody who's watching throughout the country, yes, they're both available. No. Only kidding. Ariana definitely is not available, but Ayla is. This is Ariana, and this is Ayla. Well, I can see I'm going to get in trouble when I get home.
And that was his acceptance speech for winning a U.S. Senate seat. When this previously unknown Republican, Scott Brown, won the special election in January 2010 to fill out the remainder of the term for the Senate seat that had been held by the late Democrat Ted Kennedy, the Republican Party knew then that 2010 was going to be a good year for them. They knew they were going to have a really good midterm election that fall if a Republican like Scott Brown could win that year in a blue state like Massachusetts. Scott Brown, as senator, has continued to be a cause célèbre for Republicans and for their donors. He's been a top beneficiary of funding from hedge funds and Wall Street banks, for example. And maybe it's because of all that national attention. Maybe it's because he has a different kind of spotlight on him as compared to other Republicans. But Scott Brown has also just been a really strange U.S. senator in terms of his political tactics. If that sounds like an oddly personal way for me to characterize the behavior of a public official, it's because I mean it that way. I mean it personally, because he apparently means it personally. Just a couple of months after he became a U.S. Senator, Scott Brown sent out a national fundraising letter saying that I was running against him for his Senate seat. Dear friends, it's only been a couple of months since I've been in office, and before I've even settled into my new job, the political machine in Massachusetts is looking for someone to run against me. And you're not going to believe who they are supposedly trying to recruit. Liberal MSNBC anchor Rachel Maddow. I relish being an independent voice in Washington. The Democratic Party bosses in Massachusetts disagree. They want a rubber stamp who will vote for their plans to expand government, increase debt, and raise taxes. Someone like Rachel Maddow. I just don't think America can afford her liberal politics. Rachel Maddow has a nightly platform to push her far-left agenda. What about you? I'm grateful you are with me. Thanks again for whatever support you can provide me, and I look forward to joining in further victories with you down the line. Sincerely, Scott Brown, United States Senator. In other words, hello, National Conservative mailing list. Don't you hate Rachel Maddow on MSNBC? She's running against me. Send money. Now, of course, I've never run for anything, and I never will. I was never running against Scott Brown for anything ever, but he did not care. He just made that up. He raised money off it, and he never took it back. Even after I ran a full-page ad in the Boston papers saying he was lying and I was not running against him, he still kept saying it.
Continue to fight and do my job and work hard to do just that. And, bring her on. I don't care.
Bring her on. Bring on Rachel Maddow, who is not running against me. I want to say I'm running against her anyway, even if I'm not. So, yeah, when I say that Scott Brown has been kind of weird as a U.S. senator, that's the kind of thing I mean. And now he is doing it again. Seriously, it is hard not to take this personally. The person who really is running against Scott Brown for Senate is Elizabeth Warren, the middle-class economics expert and so-called sheriff of Wall Street, who founded the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and thereby did not endear herself to the hedge funds and Wall Street investment banks who have been Scott Brown's top supporters. Elizabeth Warren is running against Scott Brown. But Senator Brown has been very reluctant to agree to a debate schedule with her. The Boston Globe reporting that the senator and his staff have refused to meet with Elizabeth Warren or her campaign to discuss debate invitations or dates or terms for debating. This week, though, Scott Brown said he would agree to a televised debate with Elizabeth Warren, but he had conditions. And he said if his conditions weren't met, he wouldn't do it. His conditions are, first, that the widow of Senator Ted Kennedy not make an endorsement in the Senate race. Seriously, that was one of his demands. And two, his second demand, Scott Brown also demands that MSNBC not be the host of the debate. MSNBC is not the host of the debate. MSNBC was never going to be the host of the debate. MSNBC never even got asked about hosting the debate. But Scott Brown demands that MSNBC be removed as the host of this debate. And please send him money for him to run against his Senate opponent, MSNBC TV host Rachel Maddow. What is going on with Senator Scott Brown? Are other senators like this? Is anybody else besides us at MSNBC having to deal with a sitting U.S. senator constantly making stuff up about their hosts running campaigns against him and saying we're hosting debates that we're not hosting? Does this happen to other people? Incidentally, Ted Kennedy's widow, Vicki Kennedy, says she is not agreeing to Scott Brown's demand that she not make an endorsement in the Senate race, and so that particular debate is off. Scott Brown will not do it. But honestly, regardless of that, what's going on with Scott Brown? What is wrong with Scott Brown? Senator Brown, you are welcome to explain yourself here on this show anytime, particularly because you keep making stuff up about me and this network. You are welcome here anytime on this show. You're welcome even just to return one of our calls, ever.